was very happy about the fact that we had the Friday afternoon Bellator show in Paris. Big win for Fabian Edwards, and now he's going to fight Johnny Eblin in Dublin later this year. That's a really solid middleweight title fight. Two young studs, two kind of homegrown-ish products. I know Fabian not necessarily homegrown, but you get the point. Not UFC cast-offs. Like it. That was on Friday. Saturday afternoon, we had the UFC show on ABC, which kind of flew under the radar a little bit. Felt like it should have been bigger. Solid enough. Some good results. Jailton Almeida with the big win over Jairzinho Rosenstrike. That guy is just unbelievable. And I mean, I feel like we're about, this time next year, we'll get ready for a Jailton Almeida, Sergey Pavlovich title fight. We could talk more about that in the future on this program. But that was big. And at the same time, we had the Misfits card, which featured the KSI win over Joe Fournier. Unfortunately, also featured the shocking Salt Poppy loss to Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor. What I appreciate about all of this is by 6 o'clock, everything was done Eastern time. Then I got to take my kids to the New York Red Bulls game against NYCFC. If you're ever in the New York City area, let me just say very quickly, if you're ever in the tri-state area, do yourself a favor and go to Red Bull Arena. I don't know why they call it arena when it's a stadium. Nevertheless, it is beautiful. It felt like we were at a European soccer game. It was unbelievable. It's not like NYCFC, they play at Yankee Stadium. It's clearly a baseball stadium. This was built for soccer, and the pitch was beautiful. My kids were so happy to be there at their first live soccer game that they can recall. I took them to one when they were like 2. They don't remember. They would have rather be there than like NBA Finals Game 7. They were so excited to be there. And so it was a lovely time, and I really enjoyed it. Big day for us as far as soccer is concerned. Nottingham Forest tied Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, NBD. But I was happy that we got that, Saturday off, so I was able to do that. This afternoon when I got here, I saw the guys. They were eating lunch, just kind of fraternizing as they do before the program. And I asked GC and Eric in particular, New York Rick, what was the biggest story of the weekend? Because there's a few directions that you can go. Do you want to go with Fabian Edwards, following in the footsteps of his brother Leon, the UFC welterweight champion? Solid pick. Do you want to go with Jailton Almeida? Do you want to go with Garry? Do you want to go with Matt Brown, who had the big win over Court McGee? Or do you want to go with, Misfits, KSI, Solid Pop, whatever? I don't know what the right answer is. And I feel like if I come on this program and talk about one or the other, some fan base is going to be disrespected. So let me throw it out to the guys because I didn't get their answer. I wanted them to chew on it. Let me ask them, gentlemen, what did you think was the biggest fight-related story? You could throw in Rolly Romero's controversial win if you'd like. I doubt anyone's going to vote on the Celtics beating the Sixers in Game 7. But if you would like to do that, maybe Sloppy Joe back there would be happy to do that. New York Rick, your pick. And please give us a real answer, not a facetious answer.
No,
please.
no. What do you mean? I only speak in facts, and it's the minor setback of Salt Poppy, the minor speed bump in the journey to greatness. Credit Anthony Taylor, a great performance, a lot of clinching.
Hard fought 3 rounds.
Hard fought 3 rounds. Maybe the 3 rounds ends up being a mistake.
Huge mistake. 3 rounds is nothing.
Yeah, when it came on and the bug said 3 rounds, I was wildly disappointed. I thought we were getting at least 6.
So I just want the record to show that the first fight that we're talking about on today's program, not my choice. I'm throwing this to you.
Rick. That's Rick.
It is Salt Poppy's loss to Anthony Taylor.
It was the main event of the biggest fight card of the weekend.
The people's main event.
Oh, was there fights after?
You did. I did ask you if you were watching afterwards, and you said you turned it off.
I don't watch post-limbs. I only watch
the main event. Off after the main event.
Yeah, the main event.
Classic.
Salt Poppy, Anthony.
Shout out Anthony Taylor.
I do want to ask you about that in a moment, but first let me get GC's pick.
All right, so in terms of engagement, in terms of how many people were talking about it, it was the KSI elbow. I mean, that was just taking over the internet. In terms of my own personal world, it was Jailton Almeida is unstoppable.
He's unbelievable, right?
Unbelievable. I mean, it's exactly how he drew it up. Gets the takedown, spends the rest of the round, gets the good position, subs him first round. That easy. I mean, he has had as many significant strikes landed on him as Hamza. Like, he's making it look easy, and now he's getting into the top 10 of a division that people say he shouldn't even be in. So, yeah, Jailton Almeida for me.
And to be clear, they say he shouldn't be in there because he should probably be a 205er.
Yeah, they're saying he could be 205. Like,
Yeah.
he could fight at 205, use his size at his advantage. But I like him at heavyweight.
How about
the run continues?
How about this stat, courtesy of Michael Carroll, who works for UFC Stats? Significant strikes absorbed by Khamzat Chimaev in his first 4 UFC fights, 1. Significant strikes absorbed by Jailton Almeida in his first 5 UFC fights, 2.
I mean,
2?
It's fake stats. He's now fighting top 10 opponents, and he's making it look that easy.
That is unbelievable. 2 strikes against
everyone's
heavyweight.
calling for Blades. I'm down for Blades. Maybe he gets the winner of Tybura Aspinall.
Do you do that now? Almeida, Aspinall, like I'm assuming Aspinall wins. Do you
I'm
do
down
that now?
I'm down for Almeida Blades. Blades coming off a loss.
Here's the question: do you do him versus Pavlovich?
Yeah, man. I go back to, if I'm Pavlovich, I'm sitting until I get the title shot.
Okay, so I made the joke at the beginning. Let's say they do John Jones versus Stipe, and as of right now, and yes, it's 6 months away, so they have some time. But as of right now, there's not a lot of talk about this fight, and they're getting stuff done beforehand. I'm not worried about that. Like, they're not usually booking the November pay-per-view in May. But so let's say they do it. If you're John Jones, you win. Are you sticking around to fight Sergey Pavlovich and Jailton Almeida?
I don't think he is. I don't think that he would do that.
No.
And then we do what, a vacant title, Pavlovich versus Almeida? Is that what you were referencing at the beginning of the show?
That was the joke, yeah.
But that's so far away. That's so far away.
Is it that far away?
Well, yeah, because November, right? We'd be thinking about
6
November.
months.
Yeah, but that's the fight. Then you have to wait while they do the footsie dance of is John staying or is John not?
Oh,
staying,
you don't think
or
you don't think he makes that announcement on the night?
No, why? Why?
I don't think he should retire.
I win the title and then retire. No, he's going to wait. Maybe they bring him something interesting. You know, I don't think that's an automatic retirement after a title. Also, that's an assumption that John Jones is going to win. I would obviously favor John Jones. Stipe might be more willing to stay around. It doesn't seem that way. So yeah, no, that's too far off, in my opinion.
I don't think John should retire. Like, I see people saying like he's going to run away from these guys, and I saw his comments. I think it was to Fox Sports Australia, where he's like, you know, what do I get out of this? And I get that, but to hang it up. There's nothing to prove against this series. There's always going to be killers. But to hang it up just because those guys are tough but don't have big names, like, will feel like a very sort of underwhelming way. I don't know. I just feel like he's got fighting left.
I definitely don't think he's running away from those guys.
That's killing
I think
me.
it would just be
No, not killing. It's just like the upside isn't there, right? They're so
but the
tough.
idea of like running or like John Jones is running away from somebody.
them.
Just the idea of this just kills me. Like that.
How do they keep him happy? How do they keep him around? Like, there's literally nothing else.
It has to be a fight that's not those guys.
Sergey Pavlovich is the #1 contender. He deserves a title shot.
I mean, who else
Not
is
for
there?
me.
Who else
A
is
light
there?
heavyweight champion coming up or something, maybe something that really like matters, a legacy type fight.
Who are the light heavyweight champions? You know, like, that could be champion by the time this is a thing. Jamal Hill, Yuri Prochaska.
There's more money in it. There's more money in it. Yeah. That fight matters more to me than Sergey.
I kind of like the Sergey fight.
Is it going to make money though? Is it going to make money?
I feel like
if you're John Jones, you need a fight that makes financial sense or legacy sense, and that's not the fight.
Well, right now, John Jones is the champion. Cyril Gane is ranked 1. Who wins, Cyril Gane or Jailton Almeida?
Oh boy, that's.
I mean, did you see how John Jones? Did you see how John Jones beat Cyril Gane?
Yeah.
It would be the exact same outcome. I mean, at heavyweight, the ground game that this dude has is insane. I mean,
it's crazy that he's ranked 12th right now, but that's going to change in the UFC rankings because above him, Derek Lewis, Marcin Tybura, Jairzinho is 9, so he's at least going to be 9. But even Spivak, Volkov, Tuivasa, now we get into Aspinall, Curtis Blades. Like, he's a top 5 heavyweight.
Oh, for
in my opinion.
And he has to hit a point. He has to hit that Khamzat point where he finally gets tested, where he gets pushed, or he gets like checked and he gets knocked out or something like that. But right now, I mean, he's just making it look easy. It's insane.
Yeah, we need to see somebody stop a takedown. We need to see somebody actually prevent.
He stopped the first one.
Yeah,
and then immediately the second one came.
Yeah. I don't know if that guy exists, by the way. Like, who's going to repeatedly stop them? That's the problem.
I really need to see his chin like really tested. Like the shots that Hamzat ate against Gilbert Burns, it was like, wow, this guy also has a chin. Like if Jailton Almeida has like a serious chin on him,
do you have a future
he's
on
already
him?
a problem. Nah, because I don't think he's going to get there by 2024. Or I mean by 2023. Next year I'll have one, no doubt.
All right, so he was one of the big stories. I would argue that Ian Garry's win was just as big as his. I would argue that it was just as big. To do that to D-Rod, this is a guy that people have been targeting since he was 1-0, saying that he could be the next big thing. There's no denying now that he's the best fighter to come out of Ireland as far as MMA is concerned since Conor. I don't think you can deny that anymore. Is that a crazy statement, New York Rick? At this point,
accurate. Yeah.
12-0, like there have been good fighters that came out of Ireland either around the same time or shortly thereafter. The Paddy Hoolans of the world, the Ashling Dailies of the world, et cetera, et cetera. But no one who's doing this to do that against Daniel Rodriguez to win in just a little over 2 minutes. And to, head kick him when you said you were going to head kick him. Like, the guy has arrived. And I think some people were willing to or excited to write him off and say that he wasn't worthy of all the attention and praise. He has arrived. He is here. I would actually put him in the same conversation as Jailton, as the stories of that UFC card. I think that win was just as impressive as the main event win. Crazy, GC?
No, I don't think that's crazy. I mean, he's had this hype around him. He's kind of a polarizing fighter. And the fact that last fight, we saw him get dropped. We saw him struggle a little bit, fight back, get the finish over Kanong Son, and then take a harder fight against D-Rod and get the finish in the first round like that. Super impressive to me.
How do we feel about him celebrating the 15 so much? I mean, he got the tattoo.
I'm cool with it. I'm all right with it. Everyone's hating on it. I'm all right with it.
By the way, his social media game, Rick, I mean, can we give him props? It has...
give him some props, Rick.
It has
the Dear
improved.
Diary post. The Dear Diary post could look cool.
Yeah.
Like, if he ends up becoming champion, the diary post will look
Rick not liking them?
I get what's happening here. I like the effort and the initiative on it. So well done. Look, we were talking about Jailton Almeida and Ian Garry, and I think the big difference for Ian versus Jailton is Ian can grab a mic and kind of set the tone, right, and say what he wants next and lay it all out and cut the promos, and that helps him big time. Like he's great on the mic. He knows he comes in with a thought, with a plan, and is able to kind of lay out his next steps. He's talking to Pizzi and predicting knockouts. Like the guy has whatever it is, and if he can realize his potential, it's going to be massive.
Yeah, he also dresses to the nines, and they showed him coming into the arena. And I said to the people I was watching the fight card with, I was just like, I don't know if he's going to get there. But, like, if he ever gets to the point where he's main eventing cards, where he's, main eventing a pay-per-view, like, he is ready for it. Like, rocking the velvet suit, like, all the social posts and everything. Like, if his fight game can get him there, then he's definitely built for it.
I think a lot of the criticism is, like, cosplaying as Conor McGregor, but...
Which I feel like that's down a little bit now.
I don't actually feel like that's the criticism that he receives. I think it was that. I think the criticism is that he tries too hard. I think that's what people don't like, that it doesn't feel natural. Like even the social media stuff is all very curated.
There's a truth to that.
No, but that's the criticism I see. I don't see the Conor stuff anymore, to be honest. I don't feel like he acts like Conor, other than the accent and where he's from.
He leans into the Conor stuff though. But to be fair,
he always says, I don't want to be compared to him anymore.
No, I don't mean necessarily in point of comparison, but it's like Conor praise, going back and forth with him. He's going to be connected to Conor. It's
that's
just
fine.
He's an Irish fighter,
and I think that's good for him.
That's fine.
That's good for him.
Take that praise, take that connection, take that whatever that he has with him, the friendship, whatever. Take it and run with it. The one thing I would suggest to him that I think would go a long way at this point, and look, he doesn't need our advice because he's there. I would really love to see him on a European card next, because I do feel like he's fighting on these random cards in America and he's not getting the pop that he deserves. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You compare the pop that some of these other European fighters have got. Like, look how much we talk about Tom Aspinall still. Look at what happened to Paddy. Look what happened to Molly. Yes, you need that pop to then tell the world that you are a superstar. Charlotte isn't going to react to you like like England is going to react to you. And I know he's Irish. But I don't know if they're going to Ireland anytime soon. You get the point?
Yeah.
Like, if he could get on this London card, and it might be too soon.
That seems quick.
I don't know.
Fuck, it was 2 minutes. It was a 2 minute thing, but like, who knows?
2 months
Training
in between
camp.
his last
Yeah,
fight.
to get an opponent though, and I mean, look,
I think,
it'd have to
don't
be a
you
ranked
do you
opponent,
understand what I'm
yeah.
saying? It will make him seem like a bigger superstar. Put him in the co-main. Heck, he deserves to be in the main at this point. I just feel like I think they made a conscious decision early on to say, hey, we don't want to be the European fighter, and so let's go to Jacksonville, let's go to Vegas, let's do this, and that's fine. But I think he needs that extra oomph to get the people in Europe really behind him, because we've seen what they can do for their own. I think that's something that's missing right now.
I like it. Good idea.
I do love also the call out. Neil Magny? Like, not a lot of people are calling out Neil Magny at his stage. A winnable fight, but a name, a respected name, a ranked guy. Love
Another
it.
like proper step.
He does.
at
Yeah,
170.
he's doing everything right. Like, he always has a name ready. He sells the fights. He does the media.
And you saw the lower third, the 7-fight plan to the championship.
Yeah. I like it. And I think that's a winnable fight for him. It's a good name. He had it ready to go. I mean, Neil Magny versus Ian Garry co-main for that London card. Again, it might be too soon. It's in a little over 2 months. Would be impressive.
I
John,
believe.
yeah,
Am I crazy? But Magny's booked. No.
Fuck, could be booked. I mean, he called him out. Why would he call him out if he's booked?
I don't know. That happens all the time.
Yeah, it's true. It does happen all the time. Let's see.
Morono called out, who do you call out? Brian Barberani, and he got booked the very next.
Well,
very next day.
not his fault.
Yeah, of course not.
Yeah, he's fighting Philip Rowe.
Rowe. And
By the way, there's another June card, ABC card in June.
Is it the Holly Holm main event one?
No, Josh Emmett, Ilya Taporia.
oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah, in June. Yeah, that's a great one.
That's ABC.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's Poria, baby.
In Jacksonville. All right. Well,
Either way, point
Yeah.
is he's
They'll probably
got a
go-
plan. He's got a name in mind. He's doing it right.
Johnny Walker with the win over Anthony Smith. I don't know if that was the performance that he needed to maybe slide into that. I mean, he might just be the guy, because who knows about Yuri Prochaska's shoulder and how it's recovering. But I
You're
felt
talking about for the title?
yeah, because I don't know if Yuri's going to be ready for when they want him ready. But I think that's
know.
what they hope.
I don't know if that decision win gets a rematch after getting knocked out in the first round by.
I mean, who else is there?
I don't know.
I feel like
Alex
people
Pereira.
felt like Anthony Smith, if he got
John
the win, would be in there.
Magomed.
My
I
God.
don't know.
Yeah, it's tough sledding it.
Divisions
to a
in
fight.
shambles.
I feel like Johnny Walker needs one more win.
So that's happening. And Carlos Ulberg with a nice win.
Oh,
He's looked very good, right?
Blackjack. Don't get Rick started on him.
Why? That's your guy?
Yeah.
Really?
Love the guy.
Since when?
It's a long established thing.
Blackjack?
I've got
Blackjack,
a few
ladies'
few
night.
guys.
When he came in studio, I don't remember you going crazy.
Was I here? I don't even remember.
It was on a Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were here.
I mean, do I go crazy for anything?
Not really. Alex Morono with the big win. Matt Brown with the big win.
Matt Brown with a very big win. That was amazing.
Yeah, Brian Battle with the impressive win. Unfortunately, friend of the program, JRC, another tough one. But at the same time, we have this Misfits card, which was a total like roller coaster ride. I'm sitting, first I sit down, I'm like, hey kids, you know, KSI is fighting. And they're like, my kids just don't care for fighting, to be honest. Like, we left everything, out on the table. Like, the tank was empty after Forrest and Chelsea, if I'm being honest. It was just such an emotional game. But then, I was like, oh, let's just sit down and see what this is like. I'm curious. I'm aware of some of these people, Sal Poppy on the show, KSI on the show. And all of a sudden, I tune in, and the national anthem is about to play. I'm like, oh, that's cool that they're doing the national anthem. And I will be honest, mea culpa, like, I'll be honest. I don't know. I've never heard of. Maybe it's on my demo. I don't know who Gideon is. Do you guys know who Gideon is? I've since learned that he's got like a gazillion YouTube. So, like, honestly, Rick, did you know who he was before Saturday?
I think it would be fair to say I knew of him, but I'm not like somebody who consumes his content. Is that
GC?
acceptable?
Yeah, that's
You knew
I'm
of
the
him.
exact same way. Yes, knew of him, but like I'm not going to his YouTube channel and watching.
I asked my 15-year-old nephew, Jared, do you know him? He's like, yeah, I love him. I was like, what? All right, fine. I guess I'm really out of touch, which is
You're
totally
40. Your nephew's 15.
fuck. Honestly, I still feel like I'm
Different
22.
demographics.
I still feel like I have the same brain. I don't know what's happened. I guess that's what old people say.
Yeah.
But
That's exactly it.
Jeez
That's
Louise.
what old people say.
And at first, I'm like, is he trolling right now? I see him. He pulls out the phone and he's reading the lyrics off the phone. And then I hear the booze. In case you missed it, we have the audio of it. Frank, what do you think? Is this trolling or is this legit? You tell me.
I think it's legit.
You think it's legit? Can we play the audio?
Oh, say, can you see?
I mean, what is that?
By the dawn's early light.
This is beautiful.
What so proudly we
How could this has offended a lot of people in America?
Last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars.
I mean, you hit the high note.
Some effort, yeah.
Frank,
Frank, your thoughts?
I mean, it's no Roseanne.
We watch, we're so gallant.
Now the boos are raining in.
Streaming, and the rockets
This is
red glare.
The hard notes to hit.
tough.
Bursting in air.
Yeah.
Gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does
This is good.
Yeah, you like it?
He's trying.
Yeah, he's definitely giving it his all. A for effort. Oof. Wow, let that go a little long.
I'm literally standing up right now.
Yeah. So I see that, and I'm like, okay, this is Carl Lewis levels. This is Roseanne. There's like Carl Lewis, Roseanne, Fergie. There's
Never
been some,
felt more patriotic.
but I feel like those ones tried. Like they were giving it the old. I feel like he was trying, and then I learned that he's like a big time troll. So I tweeted about it, and then I learned that he, like, I guess that's his thing. So I feel like I kind of exposed myself and got trolled.
No.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, and then he hit you with the troll and the replies.
I mean, the reply was tremendous.
The Lord, please take the hate out of this man's heart. Is
Yes, I mean, yeah,
sitting on the street with like the fisheye lens to.
it's tremendous. Wearing the same outfit.
Yeah,
and then he spoke to my friend Donna Corby afterwards and said that it's on site.
Yeah, on site.
Better be careful.
I mean, it was clearly a troll job. Like,
Are you okay with that?
yeah, I'm fine with it.
Even as an American,
Yep.
making a mockery of
Gets
the anthem.
engagement, you know.
I saw some people really upset. Dominic Reyes was in my comments, very upset about this.
I have more things to worry about than Gideon singing
Is
the
it on
national
him?
anthem
Is it on him
improperly.
or somebody else? Like they booked him. That's
Yeah.
not his fault.
All right.
Are there
his
things
best.
what he was going
He
to
did
do
his best.
appropriately?
Dude, it got a ton of engagement.
Okay,
It
I
is
just
what
wanted to.
it is.
I don't know. I see. I don't feel. I'm a new American. I don't feel.
Although you know what, I feel like I'm not being clear on my allegiance. Like we're Team Helwani, obviously. We're anti-team.
Yeah,
To be
I mean,
honest,
it seemed like.
No. See, I have to correct the record.
Yeah.
like, we're not on his team, but I'm sympathetic. How about that? I'm
All right.
sympathetic to his cause. But nah, if we have to pick, you know, the bozo gets no love. It's all Team Helwani.
Was KSI's victory legit?
No.
No.
Okay, so for those that missed it, first round does pretty well. Second round rocks Joe Fournier with the big right, and then comes in with the what appeared like initially upon watching it was like a short right, boom, but then the replays showed that it wasn't a right that connected, it was his elbow that connected, and you see it right there. Fournier goes down right away, like he is out. There's another angle. Courtesy of DAZN, he is completely out. And initially, it was like, holy shit, he just knocked out this guy. Like, legit boxer, not 9-0, not whatever. Like, that was a freaking lethal punch. But it appears as though it was the elbow that connected. They celebrate. Doesn't really address it afterwards. Did address it via social media afterwards. But like, is this going to be overturned? It's not really sanctioned by. It's not sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control. And I did actually get a press release right now. Literally like 4 minutes ago. Joe Fournier expressed his disappointment with the outcome, stating, "I knew fighting the promoter there would be every angle in high favor, but to call this a knockout instead of a disqualification after an intentional elbow is disgusting. We will be appealing this decision on Monday and hope that both KSI, Misfits, and PBA Boxing do the right thing and show their integrity to the sport of boxing." So it appears as though they're going to appeal this to this PBA association, the Professional Boxing Association, which isn't as highly regarded as the BBOC. The Professional Boxing Association is an independent boxing governing body who license and regulate professional boxing, semi-professional boxing, and white-collar boxing worldwide, with a prime emphasis being placed on boxer safety and fairness of competition. That's what their website states. So a bit of controversy here, and Joe Fournier is saying he wants to run it back. Should they run it back?
Nope.
Here, Rick.
Nope. Moving on.
Well,
now, there's part of that I agree with in the statement from Fournier. Something should be done, right? They should overturn the decision, but to be a disqualification, I can't get on board with that. I don't think KSI was intentionally throwing an elbow. He's trying to throw a short right hand. The forearm elbow connected, and it should be no contest or whatever the resulting outcome that they allow is. But we should move on from this.
So
KSI fights Tommy Fury.
Okay, so there was like a little fracas in the crowd, Tommy Fury involved, and then they brought him in the ring. Your level, GC, of interest in a Tommy Fury KSI clash, most likely in the UK, considering they're both British and very popular over there. Are you signing up to watch this?
Yeah, I'll watch it. On a scale of 1 to 10, probably like a 6. I mean, it would be very interesting if KSI was able to beat Tommy Fury.
Oh my gosh.
And then they booked Jake Paul KSI from there. Yeah, I mean, I'm not like salivating over it. Yeah, I'll watch it.
Rick?
Not excited. No number. Don't care.
Don't care at all?
Doesn't even register. Doesn't even get a 1 and a 1.
No, to be honest, it's a bit of like chocolate milk and orange juice being mixed here. Like, I was hoping Tommy Fury would resume a boxing career, after the Jake Paul thing and go box and not be doing the influencer stuff. KSI firmly in the influencer lane and camp and things. Don't care. Like, I'd rather Tommy Fury go chase titles than be boxing KSI.
He has found all of a sudden this nice niche for himself. Like, Jake dragged him in.
His brother is the greatest boxer in the world. Like, go try to box.
There's way more interest. Tommy Fury ain't entering into a ring for anyone who's 9-0, 8-0, 10-0 that he could be fighting, or 5-6. And so maybe he gets this one out of the way, gets his payday, and then goes on his merry way. Here's the part that I highly disagree with his approach. He always builds these things up as like easy work, easy money, right? And I get it. It's bravado, it's ego. But again, it goes back to the Jake fight. And it goes back to something Paul Heyman taught me several years ago. If you shit on your opponent leading up to the fight and say he sucks, he's worth nothing, I'm going to smoke him, and then you beat him in a close fight,
then it's worth nothing.
And then you start crying in the ring and you talk about how it's the greatest day of your life. Like, you just told us for months that it was a nothing fight, that it was an easy payday for you. You got to pick your lane. And so to me, if I were him, I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to kill all these guys. I killed Jake. I'll kill this guy. Impressive. It's impressive what you've done, but I'm going to kill all these guys, as opposed to shitting. It's the same thing, actually, that I even was saying it to Jake's guy, Nikisa. I was like, I don't understand why he's shitting on Nate's record. You want the world to know and think that you are going to be fighting a very tough guy who has an impressive resume and pedigree, because then when you beat him, you could say, look, I told you this guy was tough, and look what I just did. Makes no sense to shit on his record. In fact, Nate was actually propping him up more than Jake was propping him up, which I was surprised to hear.
I think that speaks to, like, Nate understands the game at a little bit of a different level.
Yeah.
To be fair, I'll say one thing. They had Tommy and Big John come out in the middle of the card, and it was more along those lines that you're talking about. Like, it was a little more of like, you have to respect what KSI has done, and now I'm going to fight him. But yes, he does default, to your point, very much to the, like, this is light work, it's not going to be anything, type of deal. But there's a mix, at least. He's a little bit giving KSI credit.
Bigger fight, KSI Tommy or Jake Tommy? Sorry, KSI Tommy or Jake KSI?
JKSI.
JKSI for sure.
Worldwide or all over?
JKSI.
JKSI.
Yeah. I still feel the same. And I guess they really don't like each other. Like the two teams don't like I always thought it was kind of a work, but I feel like they really don't like each other at this point, which is kind of a shame because they're the ones who are supposed to show the real boxers like we make the fights happen, right? Like,
but maybe they're doing this as a long play. Like it'll eventually happen and everybody will want it. It lost momentum. When Jake lost, it lost momentum. Now,
if Jake beats Nate, the momentum's right back.
Yeah, if
Jake beats Nate
correct.
and KSI beats Tommy, then they book Jake versus KSI.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like
just as
that.
big as it ever will be.
It sounds like they're doing KSI Tommy. In the end, though, because us MMA fans are a little wackier, and I think we don't take ourselves as seriously as boxing fans. Are you guys entertained by this stuff, or are you kind of like, does it get you excited at all, or no?
I'm
Thanks.
like mildly entertained. I wouldn't in terms of excitement, I'm not like cannot wait for the next Misfits card. But I mean, it's entertaining.
It's running out of steam for me, if I'm being honest. It's becoming too legitimate. Like it's too close to
Those
real
two
boxing.
dudes who are like
now.
400 pounds going like.
Oh, okay. I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about the main events. Like at this point, like as an example, KSI versus Tommy isn't interesting to me because it's really just like a regular boxing match. Like I don't.
You
really
want
care.
the wackiness.
I'd want the influencers to fight the influencers and the boxers to fight the boxers, and let's just keep it separate. The closer it gets to just being boxing at a low level, the less interested I am. That's
But
not.
You're
fun.
also saying that it's getting too legitimate, but then a win by elbow is just kind of like, all right, moving on to the next one.
Yeah. Do the next.
mean,
That's my
that's
point.
crazy.
Who cares? There's no stakes.
Yeah, like literally, there's no stakes.
There's no stakes.
There's no stakes. Win by elbow. All right, we're on
love
to the
it.
next one.
Give them the no contest, and now let's do another fight. But yeah,
They're not going to give the no contest. They're not going to do the rematch. None of that. Like they're just moving on.
Yeah,
To the next one.
I have to admit, I don't know anything about the PBA. PBA was it?
Yeah.
They're not overturning anything.
don't know
Come on,
anything
dude.
about
Come
them,
on.
but-
Flip the script too. I keep saying that. Flip the script. Make it Joe Fournier landing that elbow.
Oh my God.
Tones are much different.
You know what I say to that? You know yourself. You know yourself. It would be the emoji with the fire coming out like.
Yeah. Not just overturned to a no contest. We're talking DQs.
No chance of a DQ.
If it's overturned, if the roles are reversed,
Yeah, if the roles were reversed.
I'm saying if it's
Fournier was the one that
landing
landed the elbow.
on KSI. Fournier knows what he was getting
think they
into. He
would've-
put it on his Instagram. He was just like, I know everything was against me going.
I will say I'm entertained to a degree. Am I picking that over UFC
No.
290 or whatever? No. Do I derive joy? But again, there is something to be said. The UFC is every weekend. So when a Bellator card pops up, when a PFL pops up, when a one championship a couple weeks ago, when a BK, exact same thing we were talking about BK, right? Obviously, those fighters are a lot more legitimate. But there's something to be said for having that steak when you have chicken every night. You know what I'm saying?
100%. But isn't it more interesting to see like KSI, Salt Poppy, these guys like? When Hasim Rahman and Tommy Fury are coming into it, it doesn't do it for me. Like
Well,
I don't want to see boxers fighting influencers.
Do you know why I think that happens, by the way? Because I think the people out there, for some bizarre reason, are like, fight a real boxer. They keep saying it's like, why? Why
you know how my stance on this? I've long said it's the dumbest thing in the entire universe.
Fight a real boxer. Like, who cares?
Is Jake Paul like all of a sudden the most legitimate guy in boxing now? Did that happen overnight after he fought Tommy Fury? Did that all of a sudden happen?
No.
Is KSI going to be the most legitimate man in boxing if he fights Tommy Fury? It just makes no sense. It makes no sense. But look, if there's a market for it, clearly they're outlining something. They feel like there's a relevancy to KSI versus Tommy Fury.
Oh, it gets play. There's no doubt it gets play.
Biggest fight this weekend?
What do we mean by biggest?
I would probably say the KSI fight.
Ariel, define biggest for me.
Biggest fight this weekend.
Define it.
This coming weekend.
What is biggest?
The biggest fight.
He's saying
Haney versus Loma.
Yeah,
oh, you're crazy.
It's Haney versus Loma.
Who's going to get the most views? Who's going to get the most pay-per-view buys?
It's Haney versus Loma.
Let me tell you something about Saturday at the 3 Arena. It is going to be a scene.
Looking pretty good.
There are ways that Taylor versus Cameron is biggest, but it's not in terms of significance.
That could not be more wrong. Now, I love Haney Lomachenko. Here's the thing about Taylor's fight is like culturally, historically significant, right? For that country, for her, for women's boxing. And what isn't being talked about enough, and Lord knows I'm going to repeat this 100 times between now and Saturday. What isn't being talked about enough, she could have signed up to fight Frank on Saturday, and she would have sold that arena. She could have fought me. She could have fought she could have fought a 1 in 12. People would have scoffed at it, but they would have bought those tickets in a second.
That's accurate. I agree.
That place would have sold out. She would have fought a broomstick. That place would have sold out.
Yep.
She couldn't fight Amanda Serrano. She couldn't go to Croak. What is she doing? She's moving up to 140 pounds from 135, which is significant, and fighting the undisputed champion, undefeated at 140 pounds, Chantelle Cameron. Tougher opponent, younger opponent, bigger opponent for all the marbles.
I don't buy tougher opponent. I don't buy
Amanda
that.
Serrano's smaller opponent.
Don't buy it. Don't buy tougher. Buy legitimate. Katie, there's one thing you can never say about Katie Taylor. She did not duck the smoke. She is a legit fighting champion. She wants to fight real opponents, no doubt in my mind. And I'm with you on that. 100%.
But imagine the fact, like, the homecoming is the gimme win. Like, that's the one where this should be a coronation. This should be a celebration.
We just saw with Canelo, right?
It'll be that much better if she wins.
Yes.
Canelo went back to Mexico and chose an opponent who was not, highly regarded.
Canelo wasn't fighting Bivol in Mexico, right?
Yeah,
that's what this equivalent is. It's a great example. And that's why I love this so much.
It's great.
It's not just like we're not just going there for a party. We're going there for an actual 50-50 fight or a 60. I don't know.
Belts on the line.
Who's the favorite, by the way?
Katie Taylor.
By?
Minus 170.
It's close.
Right around that range. Oh, yeah. She is not a minus 1,200 or anything.
No,
this is a real fight.
This
is a real
belts
fight.
on the line.
Belts on the line.
A lot of belts on the line.
I still think.
Hating Lomachenko's big, but just because from
no. I was going to say Taylor Serrano to me is still the best fight in around that weight for me. But this is a real.
I'm just curious
test.
how she looks going up. She hasn't gone up in a very long time.
Both of them be fantastic.
They fought back in 2011, I think it was, on the amateur scene.
Yeah.
Katie beat her, but that was like a gazillion years ago. I just can't say enough about the fact you take the tougher fight, or at least with more to lose because you're going up and you're risking a loss, your first pro loss in front of your people when this is all that you've wanted for all these years.
She is daring to be great, as has been said many times by fighters. She is daring to be great. She is not just resting on the idea of I'm back home and I can sit here and fight anybody.
Yeah,
you're right.
Wait for the Serrano fight whenever that may happen. Yeah, no, it's
and
tremendous.
by the way, this is not.
She wanted to fight Serrano there, by the way, which I'm saying is the tougher fight. She would fight anybody. There's no doubt in my mind. Katie Taylor is game in that way.
Chantelle Cameron putting the belts on the line too in Katie Taylor's country.
Respect.
Everyone feels like we are one fight away from those two fighting each other again, right? That's what is the sentiment. And I'm just putting the cards out. Compare the opponent that they're both facing next. Amanda Serrano is fighting Heather Hardy. Katie Taylor's going up to fight Chantelle Cameron, right? There's a difference, right?
Yes.
Right, Eric? Big
There's
difference. There's a big difference. So I appreciate the daring to be great.
Okay, but that's a circumstance thing, right? If Serrano could make the fight with Taylor, she'd be fighting Taylor.
Well, we'll see. We'll talk more about that. I'm looking forward to it.